$100 million portfolios. I was working with $100 million portfolios back in the days when I was in corporate e-commerce. What does that have to do with Etsy? Well, everything. That experience gave me my entire foundation for building not only just my Etsy shop, but also helping all of my students in building their Etsy shops to that multi-six-figure level. In today's video, I give you the 3 big lessons learned from my corporate e-commerce experience that you should be infusing into your Etsy business to take it to that next level. So let's get into it. If you like videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. I put new videos like this out every week, and I'd love to have you around. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dylan Jarrus, and I am an Etsy seller of almost 7 years. I've sold $1.4 million in revenue on the platform. I've made over $1 million in profit on the platform. And now I teach other Etsy sellers how to do this for themselves. So corporate e-commerce experience and Etsy. What is the common thread? Well, it's simply what is going to make us the most money, provide the most consistency, and in the fastest way possible. So after business school and then doing a program on buying and product development over in the UK, I started my career at Zappos. Now, Zappos is that company in Las Vegas, Nevada, really focused on delivering happiness to their customers. After Zappos, I moved over to Zulily, which is a flash sale model. Those places taught me to literally sell anything. If you give me something, I will sell it. Duct tape, I will sell it. Commodities, I will sell it. Consumables, I will sell it. Digital products, I will sell it. Why is that? It's because I learned how to build an e-commerce business in the action sports footwear category. Now, this is like surf, skate, street, where I was 100% not the customer. And what this did was that it forced me to build high volume e-commerce businesses purely based on data without any personal opinions of what would sell guiding me. So I learned the direct application of the 3 C's of marketing, the 4 P's of marketing, the relationships between average order value, margin, sell-through, turn, and ultimately generating cash flow to reinvest, to be able to use the same processes to build future businesses with that wash, rinse, repeat type of process. So today I'm giving you 3 of the top lessons from my corporate e-commerce experience that I apply to my Etsy business and my students' Etsy businesses when they take my program, Multi-Six-Figure Etsy Blueprint. Let's jump into it. Number 1, we need to focus on the blended gross margin. I talk to many Etsy sellers who are hung up on their margin per item. Instead, they should really be focusing more on their blended margin and consider different pricing strategies for different categories that they sell in. So for example, when I was in the performance footwear category at Zappos, I worked on a few different portfolios. So there was outdoor, there was athletic, there was action sports, and there was street. So when I was in the outdoor category, an 18 to 24% gross margin was oftentimes expected. However, in the athletic category at the time, we were looking for around a 34 to 36% gross margin. In the action sports category, we were looking for that 38 to 42% gross margin. And oftentimes in the street category, we were running over a 42% gross margin. Within each of those 4 categories, different brands would operate at different margins. So for example, I might be running Converse at a 46% gross margin because I'm incorporating a big closeout buy into my product mix. On the other hand, Puma might be running at a 34% margin because maybe they're no longer offering that 40% discount to us and they've tightened it up to only 20% off. So in order to manage sell-through, i.e. cash flow, I'm taking a lower margin. So within portfolios, there are different categories with different margin expectations, and within those categories, there are different brands with different margin expectations. And within those brands, there are different products with different margin expectations. But it all rolls up to one big performance category at $100 million. And that gross margin blended fell around 34 to 36%. So if you focus too much on gross margin per item, you are going to miss so much opportunity. Instead, focus on the blended margin and you'll see that you're able to scale your revenue 2x, 3x, 4x. Number 2, we need to focus more on gross margin dollars than gross margin percent. Another big hiccup that I see Etsy sellers making is focusing too much on gross margin percent. I get messages all the time. I haven't had 100 sales yet on Etsy. Do you think I should be at a 50% gross margin? Do you think I should be at a 20% gross margin? I can never answer that question because I don't know anything about your business. The gross margin percent is such a small component of the overall health of your business. Because so what if you have a 50% margin if you're only making $50,000 a year in revenue? That's only a $25,000 profit. Personally, I'd rather take a 30% margin and do $150,000 in revenue for a $50,000 profit. So if you are hung up on hitting a certain gross margin percentage in your business, I would almost guarantee that you are leaving money on the table with the increase in volume that you could do if you were willing to take a lower gross margin percent. So let's say, for example, on Etsy, you are selling a $20 t-shirt and your cost of goods sold, including Etsy fees, is $10. And you are selling 10 of these t-shirts per month at a 50% margin. Okay, so you're making $100 per month profit. Well, what if you could sell that same exact t-shirt for $14? So the cost of goods sold, including Etsy fees, is still $10. Only now, because you're taking a 20% gross margin, you're able to sell 40 of these t-shirts per month. Well, now you're making $160 profit instead of a $50 profit. And at the same time, you're getting so many other benefits. Order count goes up, your review count goes up, and we start investing time into more and more customer relationships, which has a compounding effect because remember, it's not a one-time transaction. We are implementing all of our strategies that are really driving up the lifetime value of that customer at the same time. So getting more customers earlier on in your business has a compounding effect. So stop focusing so much on gross margin percent and start focusing more on gross margin dollars, on the long-term, big picture growth and scalability. And the third and final thing is something that I hardly see any Etsy sellers considering or talking about when it comes to their physical product-based businesses. And it is the thing that is preventing them from investing in other wealth-producing vehicles. And that thing is sell-through. This is why many Etsy sellers have thousands of dollars of inventory tied up, sitting in the corner of their garage, sitting in the closet, and it's money that's tied up that's not being put to work. So if you want to have a really high cash flow generating business that is funding other wealth building investment vehicles for you, you need to have a really strong understanding of sell-through. Because when it comes to sell-through, time is money. Let's say you have $1,000 tied up in inventory in your closet. Well, for every month that inventory does not sell, you are losing out on the profit from being able to regenerate cash flow from a more profitable item. Because if you're stuck with inventory and you are so focused on getting a good margin from it that it is taking you months or years longer to sell through that, then you have really lost the game. It would be better to liquidate all of that inventory at cost just to generate some cash flow that you can immediately reinvest into profit generating items. Also, when it comes to sell-through, there are different sell-through expectations to have for different product types in different categories. So for example, for seasonal items, we are going to be looking for a higher sell-through because the selling season for that is much shorter. But for maybe more core categories with consistent year-round sales, you are going to want a lower, healthier sell-through. For items with many sizes behind that, we also want a lower sell-through to ensure we're not running out of stock in certain sizes or colors. That ensures that we're not going to miss out on sales from sold out sizes. So the more options or variations or sizes to an item, the lower the sell-through expectation should be. So if you don't understand how sell-through applies to your business, if you have physical products, this could be the one thing really preventing you from getting cash flow out of your shop to reinvest into other really wealth building vehicles. And if the concept of sell-through is overwhelming or confusing, reach out to me. team@dylanjarus.com is my email, or reach out to me on Instagram @dylanjarus. So to recap, 1, focus on a blended margin versus a margin per item. Number 2, in order to scale big, you need to focus more on gross margin dollars, not the gross margin percentage. And number 3, if you don't get a handle on tightly managing your sell-through, your business can easily get stuck in a place of generating a low amount of cash flow. If you need help with any of those things, reach out. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.